Hi everyone, I am Ketra. Welcome to your reading for Capricorn. This is for the month of July. So as always, this is a collective reading, so sometimes those messages don't resonate with you, and that's okay. But also feel free to share my video if you think these messages might be for somebody that you know. Huge thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you for taking the time to do so. And thank you so much to everybody that views my videos. I appreciate every single one of you. So we're going to get our oracle cards ready for our reading, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at our month coming up for Capricorn. We're also going to take a look at some of your standout days and your challenging days in the month of January. So again, thank you so much all for being here. Let's go ahead and get right into our reading for July. We have the Hierophant, the Five of Wands, and the King of Swords. We have the Empress, we have the Page of Swords, and we have the Nine of Cups. So we also have the Seven of Swords making an appearance again, the Eight of Swords, and the Seven of Swords. No, Seven of Wands. I just got stuck on the numbers there. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and take a look at our oracle cards that say, do it your way and let it be. Let it be. If you need to solve a problem, ask yourself, what is the simplest way to proceed? When you call forth the simplest path, it appears, and vice versa. Do it your way. You were never meant to fit in. You were born to be wild and free, a free force of nature, here to build new and better worlds. Allow yourself to go and do that. That is a fantastic message. I love that for you, Capricorn. All right, so let's take a look at how those messages can correlate with your month of July. So you have the Hierophant, the Five of Wands, and the King of Swords. That's some pretty strong, bold energy to start the month with. So it feels like there is going to be a Five of Swords moment for you, kind of chaotic, where you're kind of feeling a little bit like a little bit defensive. And I kind of feel that also because you have the Seven of Wands down here. But let's take a look at our Hierophant. Our Hierophant is a teacher. He takes the tools that he has and he uses them from the divine. So he is divinely guided. And so I feel like the Five of Wands moment is going to be a teachable moment. And so what do we need to kind of gain from that teachable moment? Because you also have the King of Swords here, who is very strong and very structured and just kind of knows what path he wants to go on and the decision that he's going to make. So we're going to go ahead and get clarification on our Hierophant, our Five of Wands, and our King of Swords. Why are they here? Why is our Hierophant here? What is he trying to teach us? You have the King of Swords. So there's going to be a situation that's coming up, I feel, where it's kind of like a teachable moment. You're going to have to make a decision and you're going to need to probably stick with that decision because that Five of Wands situation is clarified by the Three of Wands. And so for me, that is when you really need to step out of your comfort zone. So there's something that you've learned how to do, or there's something that you're going to have to learn through where it's going to kind of take you out of your comfort zone, but you're kind of like encompassed with the King of Swords on both ends of it. So it feels like you're going to kind of have to stand firm in what you believe in, as long as you have all the information that you need in reference to whatever that Five of Swords situation is for you. And our King of Swords is clarified by the King of Cups. And so that is, for me, where you want to come at that situation with some balance. Balance emotionally and balance with that clarity, that clear mind. So whatever this situation is here, and I think I want to go ahead and clarify the Five of Wands situation. Okay, so this is the Four of Cups. And so you literally have a 3, a 4, and a 5. So you're going to progress through this situation, but it starts kind of a little bit backwards because you've got that Five of Wands. So you're going to have a situation that's going to come up for you here in July, and you're going to kind of need to take a step back. Take a look at the situation, figure out which direction that you want to go, and then that Four of Cups, that's really where A Four of Cups situation is more like you're looking at things that you've had that maybe hasn't worked, but then the divine is trying to tell you, here, look, this is another direction that you can go. And so that direction may make you feel like it's out of your comfort zone, but just stand firm in how you feel about the situation. Use that balance of the King of Cups and the King of Swords and kind of go in that direction. That's literally all I'm feeling. Is it's really just, you got to kind of stand firm. You know how you feel and you know how you want to move forward. That's just literally how I feel. It's just kind of like a stern feeling that just kind of came over to me. So we're going to look at these oracle cards before we head towards the middle of our reading. Expansion and sparkle. Sparkle. I transform fear into strength and release doubt from my mind. And I feel like that goes with that King of Swords. He doesn't have doubt. He has released all doubt from his mind and he's sure about how he wants to proceed forward. So with faith in my goodness of the universe, I embrace and love myself as a soul, discovering the light that shines within me. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to step into my power and radiate the brilliance of my true self. You also have expansion. I'm always growing, expanding, and evolving. With experience, I expand my understanding and deepen my connection to the divine. I welcome change and new possibilities, knowing that each step forward brings me closer to my highest potential, just like the Hierophant. So I really do feel like these cards kind of wanted to talk to you while we were finishing that column. So let's take a look at our energy towards the middle of the month here. We've got the Empress, the Page of Swords, and the Nine of Cups. I feel like with that Empress energy here, that's really asking you to understand that there's an abundance of things coming to you. But with that Page of Swords, you really want to make sure that you have all the information that you need going forward. You have your Nine of Cups here, which is wish fulfillment. And so I feel like divinely you are being gifted that wish fulfillment, that moment where you kind of feel really aligned with your soul's purpose. A lot of my readings are kind of geared towards those sober souls, those on the path to sobriety. And I just kind of feel like you kind of know, like you have a knowing this month of July, of where you want to go and how you want to get there. You have the Hierophant, the Empress, and you have the Seven of Swords. And for some reason, that one is calling out to me too. The Seven of Swords is, for me, usually a card of figuring out a different way to do something. And this to me feels like you've learned the lessons that you need to learn with whatever's happening here for you at the beginning of the month. That Empress is reminding you to be abundantly nurturing and kind and loving to yourself. And I feel like that is happening in a different way than it has happened before for you. But you do definitely want to gather the information that you need with that Page of Swords energy. And then I just feel like it's really going to be a very solid, is all I'm hearing, middle of the month. But I think we're going to pause for a moment and we're going to take a look because I want to kind of see what your middle of the month looks like. Your standout days for July are July 3rd, Mental Clarity Day. It's like a woohoo, strong day for strategic planning, contracts, or long-term decisions. July 18th, here it is, soft, creative, emotional energy, excellent for connecting with loved ones. And I do feel that because you've got your Nine of Cups here, which is wish fulfillment, but it's an abundance of love. You have put in a lot of work. And again, it's that abundant, nurturing self. You've gathered the information that you need for that mental clarity as you go on that journey. And then it's what do you want to do moving forward? And again, 18th of the month, it's that soft, creative, emotional energy, excellent for connecting with loved ones. The 25th is also an energy boost day, great for work, health, organization, and you feel really aligned in your strength. Your challenging days for the month of July, July 8th, avoid forcing outcomes, power clashes, or control issues. Use this energy for transformation. July 15th is a foggy day, low motivation, low energy. Wait for clarity. Wait for clarity before making decisions. And then July 25th, choose truth over control. Intense thoughts or confrontations could arise. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of clarity on our Empress. Let's clarify our Empress. Yes. Okay. Judgment. So for me, with the Empress, this really means that your intuition is calling out to you. So what direction are you feeling that your intuition is calling you to? And with our Page of Swords, we have the Ace of Swords. So it's gathering that information that you want to obtain. And it's just having that clarity once you get it. Like you'll have like a knowing, you'll just know. And then our Nine of Cups is clarified by the Ace of Wands. And that's ambition. That's the beginning of that new seed, let's say. Like you're about ready to plant the seed. And then yet you have the Nine of Cups. So it's like, what do you want to do next? It's wish fulfillment at its best, because now it's like, what do I want to do? And then go ahead and start planting that seed and get ready to put the work in. So we have our Seven of Swords, our Eight of Swords, and our Seven of Wands. So I think more towards like the end of the month with our Seven of Swords. Whoop. So that's why I was kind of pausing a little bit. For me, again, Seven of Swords is usually, for me, trying something in a different way that you've tried before. And I feel like that's exactly that with this card. Sorry, there's just too many thoughts in my head. Because you have the Death card here. Let me turn that around and help it make sense. So with our Death card, that's rebirth, transformation. It's something old ending and starting something new. And so I think it goes along with how I'm feeling about that Seven of Swords card. You're really figuring out something new that you want to do, or a new direction, or a new way of doing something. It's something like that, because you have the Eight of Swords here, and all you need to do is unbind yourself from any kind of negative thoughts or kind of negative actions. But I would also just be cautious as you're moving in towards that end of the month. You have your Seven of Wands down here too, which is a card of kind of being defensive. And so I feel like just be cautious towards the end of the month in reference to that communication. What did we see? Choose truth over control. Intense thoughts or confrontations could arise more towards the end of the month. And I think that that makes sense, especially with this set of cards here. You've got a 7, an 8, and a 7. So it's kind of like a little bit of wonky energy there, but definitely be mindful of that Seven of Swords energy. It also feels like some sort of like possible trickery or anything like that. And then definitely, because what I'm feeling now with that Eight of Swords is be mindful of that situation, because you don't want to bind yourself to something that you can't get out of and then feel like you have to be defensive over the situation. Seven of Wands is usually a card of having to be defensive over a situation. So I would be really mindful of situations, confrontations that could arise. It literally says choose truth over control. Intense thoughts or confrontations could arise. So let's go ahead and clarify our Eight of Swords here. Eight of Swords is clarified by the Nine of Wands. So again, you've got 7, 8, 9. And so Wounded Warrior, typically for me, means you just need to focus on one thing. There's been a lot of negative things that have happened in all of our pasts. But when we look at the Eight of Swords, she just needs to unbind herself. Nine of Swords just needs to focus on the future. What ambition and drive can you kind of pull out of the situation and just kind of work on one thing and move forward with that? And then with our, and it's interesting because at the bottom of this deck is the Seven of Swords. So I think that this one is pretty important. Just be mindful of it. With our Seven of Wands, we have the Eight of Wands. So you literally go 7, 8, 7, 8. So it's like back and forth, back and forth. So with that Seven of Wands, possibly being defensive about it, it feels like it's going to be something that's kind of like you're going to make a decision on one thing, and then it's just going to happen kind of rapidly. So that's how I feel with the Seven of Wands with that Eight of Wands. It's just going to be kind of like a rapid thing that comes up. And again, choose truth over control. Choose truth over control. So let's go ahead and take a look at our oracle cards here. And again, intuition, the Empress is where I was kind of feeling that like need to like kind of go with your intuition, and that Judgment card. Intuition, listen to the whisper of your heart. Use divination tools to help you decide. Trust your intuition no matter what. And then miracles, have faith that your miracle is on its way. Your prayers have been answered. Surrender the vow. All right, so I think that's where we're going to end our reading for the month of July. So Capricorn, definitely thank you so much for watching. Take care, and until the next video, have a great rest of your day.